Hello, hello, beloveds, and happy 12/12. You can definitely feel the energy shifts, the opening and the expansion that's been coming through for us now that we're really immersed in this full moon energy. Today's 12/12 energy, hey Sarita, is really a masculine feeling energy. So if you are, having any of that, any of those, I don't want to say aggressive feelings, but more of that masculine, the right side coming through, be mindful because tomorrow we shift right into a feminine energy with 13. And so stay tuned because I've got something very special to share with you to get you ready for 2020 in a way that is so healing and supportive that you'll want to take part in it. So first off, I wanted to come on today and just tell you to just really allow yourself the space and the place to go through what you are feeling. This full moon is in Gemini, so it's going to bring up our shadow side, which is why we've got this masculine feminine, but it's also going to bring in our light energy. So pay attention. So I wanted to be intentional today and share some insight. I get questions every single day and 2 questions. And so over the next few weeks or until we get into 2020, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I get. And so I'm really hoping that you will stay through the end so I could share some more insight with you. But first of all, I want to let you know, starting today, we're having the pop-up workshop, Write Her. Write Her is my baby. It is where I get to really support you and not just writing, but really truly, hey beloveds, I see you, but really truly getting in tune with what are you intentionally pulling in for 2020. Many of us, we're gonna write our intentions or set our resolutions, but what are you gonna do to really stick to it? Do you know the average person who writes their resolutions ends up giving up on them by February because there's no energy behind it. It's just writing on a piece of paper. So I want to share with you how you can carry it through. But first of all, I want to answer one of the biggest questions I always get. Why do I cover my crown? Why do I wear my bendi? So first thing, this is going to talk about, I want to share with you about the moon. I'm a Cancer Leo. So Thank you. So this covering my crown on a moon day really supports me because remember our hair is an antenna. And so during the moon energies, I really like to keep my crown covered so I can absorb energy. That's what it's really about. And it's also protective for my hair and all of the sun. But one of the biggest reasons is really about harnessing my energy. Harnessing my energy is so important, especially during the moon times, because as a Cancer, I'm ruled by the moon, so it can feel really intense. So that's why I cover my head during the moon time. And it's also, I am what's called a white moon, so I get my cycle during the new moon. And so again, with my cycle and covering my crown, what that does is allow me to harness my power. Question number 2. Now, this is a doozy because everybody wants to know about this. How do I have the authority and the know-how to speak about the Orishas? I get the message, or in the ancestors, I get this message all the time. You need to be initiated to talk to the Orishas. You can't be doing this. Why are you doing this? First of all, let me say this. I am so grateful that I discovered the Orishas, the ancestors. Most of my life, I was praying to the white goddesses and to the white Jesus, like most of us were conditioned and believed and taught to do. I remember my female cat is Lakshmi, a Hindu goddess, and my boy cat is Ganesh, another Hindu goddess, because I didn't know. Because I had never been exposed. I had to go out and discover it for myself. So many people ask me all these different questions. I digress for a moment. I'm not your Google. I am not your Google. I am not going to answer every single one of your questions. That is not my job. We have to recognize that if we want to know something, we have to do the work to discover it. I became a librarian. I was in the library. I was in the stacks. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just go to somebody, can you teach me how to be a librarian? I had to do that. Same thing with being a spiritual teacher and a counselor. I had to go through the schooling. I had to take the classes. I had to get up. I had to do the homework. If you want to learn something, beloveds, learn it. Don't ask another person just to give you the answer. Discover it for yourself. Don't keep asking spiritual teachers and healers to be your Google. You be your Google, because you're going to find something different that I see. So let me get back to the Orishas. No shortcuts. Thank you. So the Orishas, first of all, so if I was praying to the Hindu goddess and to the white Jesus and all of this, it was when I discovered my African ancestors and, even here in Mexico, my lineage. It is my gift to share. So my sisters from India, they have their gods and goddesses. The white Jesus and, all of them, they can stay in Europe. But for me, connecting to spirits and energies that look like me, that's up to me. For years, I was, my favorite was Isis, and it was Isis the way that they taught me Isis was. And it's the same with Cleopatra. That's all I knew. So let me break it down. So the Orishas, and this is how, again, we've been kept from our own good. Our slave brothers and sisters, ancestors, they weren't initiated. They weren't, they were using what they had, and they even had to cover up their own practices and create them into the Catholic saints and things like Saint Barbara who is Oshun, right? They had to cover up their practices because it was beaten out of them. Our brothers and sisters were put through torture for connecting to their ancestors, right? And so if our slave brothers and sisters or anybody who was here in the early times, they weren't initiated, they just grabbed on and used what they knew. So this nonsense that you have to be initiated. Now, if I was going to go and say you're going to be a high priestess or something, then I could understand needing to be initiated. But remember, your ancestors belong to you. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to continue praying to a white God. That does not support me. So when I think of the goddess that I pray with and call in is Ma'at. And guess what? She looks like me. So that's that. And this isn't about race, really. This is about you pray to who you are comfortable with. Do you know what I'm saying? I know when I go to Egypt in March, there's going to be a whole new, pantheon of people that I can pray with. But I'm done praying to the ones of the north. I used to do the ruins, that's Odin and Bridget, all of the European ones, because I was kept from my African and Caribbean and Mexican ancestors. So this isn't about race, beloveds. This is truly about who you connect to, because I'm not going to ask my Mexican sisters unless they want to talk to Oshun. They've got Virgin Mary, they've got Tonatiuh, they've got Ixchel, they've got Quetzalcoatl, they've got all their own gods and goddesses too. The thing is, as African Americans, which I don't even like to say as people, because we're not African Americans, we're black, we are brown. We have to recognize that we connect to who we want to connect to. And those ideas, the Christianity again, where does all that come from? It comes from the Christ energy. And that story, the whole Christianity thing was really about control. And so if you got, and I'm not trying to blasphemize or get anybody upset about religion. This isn't about religion. This is about spirit. So one of the other ways how I connect, see, I've even got my little Oshun. Today is Oshun's day. If you don't know about your ancestors, find out. One of the best ways that I love to connect to the ancestors is the way I dress. Every single day is a new day. So guess what? Every morning I pour my libations to the ancestors, to the Orisha of the day. I light my 7 potencias candle. I light my 7 potencias incense. I call in their energy. They don't just say, oh, Tanya, here we are. You have to be intentional of calling in the energy. So I dress the colors of Oshun. These are her colors. Yesterday was was Oya. So Not only do I dress it, I embody it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, today is the celebration of Tanatsin. That's why I mentioned her, beloved. I call in the energies that I know. Okay? So even in the Christian church, I'll tell you what, Mary Magdalene, her day that's in the Catholic Church, guess what? Is on my birthday. July 22nd is the feast day for Mary Magdalene in the Catholic Church. It's same as my birthday, July 22nd. So I have a connection to Mary. Does that mean that I'm praying to her all day? No, but I add her in. But to me, she is like the Ma'at energy. So I add her in. And that's it. So this doesn't have to be this complicated. You need to be initiated to light some candles. Call it in, beloveds. Don't make this hard. You know, we keep our good from ourselves. And so this is why I wanted to share with you. So I'll be hosting a very special pop-up workshop that is vision boarding, writing therapy, and spiritual coaching. If you know you're ready and you want to really set 2020 off right, this is your opportunity. The link is in bio right now. It's going to be a small, intimate group because I really want to work with each of you. We will have some group spiritual coaching because, again, when we're intentional about what we're pulling in, we're going to write the list together. We're going to pull it in. We're going to meditate. We're going to pray. We're going to send out the old and bring in the new. This is a 3-part series, and it is available now on link in bio. Again, only for a limited time, and this is a pop-up. So there will be a replay, but it's not a regular class. The Write Her journaling therapy will be coming soon for you in January. And why I'm waiting for this, because it's time for us to get prepared. And that's what the vision boarding is. So if you want to sign up, go get your magazines, go get your pictures, and join me in creating the biggest and brightest and most brilliant 2020 vision that you can, because this is not just about vision. This is about your voice. This is about your vibe. What are you pulling in for 2020? And so intentional living is how we heal. Because nobody ever told me when I was 19 and a single mother that this would be my life. Nobody ever told me that I could have any of this. I had to be intentional in creating it for myself. So where are you being intentional? What are you creating in your life right now? So again, link is in bio. So if you have questions, if you want me to answer some more questions, please let me know, because I get questions all the time. But those are the 2 biggest. Why I cover my crown during the moon times and also during my cycle, as well as the information about the ancestors and the Orishas. The Orishas have been a huge, huge healing, as well as my ancestors. You know, anybody who's passed on for me, anybody, you know, man, woman, or child, I add them into my list. Like right now, I've got Whitney Houston, Prince, Michael Jackson, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Nella Larson, Zora Neale Hurston, Marie Laveau. These are the energies that I call into my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you call it in. You know, it's your power, and you're going to connect to different people. You know, I mean, some of the people that have passed on, my friends, I call them in too. I ask for them, support me. You know, I need your help, my sister Darlene. You know, she passed on about 5 years ago with my sister Jessica. Not my real sister, but I call women friends my sisters. And so I call on them. They are my ancestors now. You create your field of ancestors. You create your field of spiritual practice. And see, this is where most of us get stuck, the spiritual practice. The Orishas and the ancestors ask for your time and attention. You don't just do this on the full moon. You can't just do this when you want something. You've got to do it every day. You can't just ask them to give you stuff like Santa Claus and you not do anything. You've got to do the work and be consistent. They don't answer to, you know what I'm saying? You've got to be consistent. And if you're not consistent to yourself, they're not going to be consistent to you. So many people think, oh, I manifested this, I manifested that. They gave it to you to show you that it's possible. Imagine what could happen if you do this every day. Okay? So call it in, beloveds. I'm here to support you and whomever you pray to. is good, because guess what? You're praying, and that's all that they ask for, because that's how you honor not only yourself, but you honor them. And if you're not honoring yourself, you're not honoring your ancestors, okay? So send in your questions, please, no DMs. And remember, I am not your Google. This is important for us, especially. We have to also recognize that relying on technology is, again, only keeping us in a very limited space. When I was in library school, I remember there was no social media, so I had to go and look in the books. I had to go and look in the stacks. There was no Google then. And so look for it. Find some books. Stop looking at everything on the damn internet. Get into the books. This is the reason I'm a librarian. I am a total book nerd. But stop thinking other people are supposed to give you the answers. Stop thinking that you can't discover it on your own, and start looking. It's important that you start to do what you need for you. Got it? So I'll be sharing some more questions. You can go ahead and post them right here in the comments or on any of the other things. I don't answer the DMs. I really don't. Please take a peek at the other latest offerings and sign up for the Write Her pop-up. If you are really ready to dive into 2020 in a new way, this is your opportunity. This is absolutely your opportunity. So I send you so much love. Happy 12/12. I'm getting back into my nature time with Oshun. You see, I'm wearing her colors. That's how she knows that I'm honoring her today, because I am not only talking about her, I'm embodying it. How are you embodying your ancestors today, beloveds? So I just love you. I love you. I love you. Allow me to support you in your healing, to support you in your growth and your expansion. I love you so much. And until next time, beloveds, peace and blessings. Happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. What are you going to do with that feminine energy? Until next time, peace and blessings.